Welcome to The Simple Actor.
Right. It's expensive. It is more expensive to be a black actress than it is to be a white actress.
Boom. You just said it. Can you say that one more time, please?
It is more expensive to be a black actress than it is to be a white actress.
Period. That's just period. I literally feel like that's like mic drop, because that is, even though the standard of beauty, I do feel like I've heard a lot of white women and white actresses especially say, I feel the pressure to be thin. And, they talk about the exercise and the diet. I'm not saying that's not there. That obviously can be there and is there in the culture of thinness, et cetera, and people trying to be body positive, et cetera. But the added pressure with the hair and with the makeup, and it's a lot. It's a lot more. There's an amazing book by Emma Dabiri called Twisted. It's like about the history of black hair, and it just goes all in. I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to watch it. And not watch it, listen to it. I listen to a lot of audiobooks or read
love
it. It's incredible, just the entire history of the hair. But she goes into a lot of these issues, colorism and makeup and the pressure of the crossing that line, as Natalie was talking about, like, oh, you've gone too far now. And I see a lot of Black women on TV, and maybe you can, talk about this, who are brilliant, who are amazing, and said, if I didn't look this way, if I didn't style myself this way, I don't think I would have even had a chance at this career. Like I was watching The Red Table with Jada Pinkett, and they were all talking about, shaving their heads. And oh, what's her name from Insecure? I'm totally blanking.
Issa Rae, Yvonne
Not
Orji.
Yvonne Orji was on there, and she was saying that when she got to LA, because I think she was in New York, and people would be like, oh, queen, natural hair. And when she got to LA, they're like, you're not going to get hired with that hair. You're not going to get hired. And she was like, they were like, the only way you will work is to look this way specifically. And she's like, I don't know if I would have gotten the job if I hadn't. And what a talent, right? Like, wild.
But also, I mean, and I don't know if she would have either, but I think that having a black female showrunner, a black female show creator, is really important and opens a lot of doors for black actresses to just look how we look.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you talk about that? Like where we are now in terms of like what's changed? So we're talking about all the things, all the issues, but do we feel like we've made progress? Like with having like Shondaland's been around for forever, but with having like Ava DuVernay's and Issa Rae's, like have things shifted? And kind of where are we at right now?
I think some things have shifted. The more diverse the power structure is, the more things are going to be able to change a little bit. I think we still have a long way to go there. And the fact of the matter is, whiteness is still centered in all things beauty. You can get your go through school for hair and makeup, still not knowing anything about black skin or black hair. And there are fully trained professional hairstylists who have just never touched black hair. And they get their licenses, they get jobs, and then we show up and they're just not prepared because it hasn't been a part of their education. And so that bleeds over then into the entertainment business as well, and then messes with our money once again, and just our stress levels and having us have to do extra jobs. I have heard some things recently about more black hair and makeup artists being on set. I don't know if do you follow #booked?
No.
On Instagram? Oh, you must. Oh, they're hilarious.
Okay.
They're hilarious. Oh my God. You will
Hashtag
love
booked?
it.
Okay.
#booked on
Okay.
Instagram. You will love it. Two black actresses just doing sketches and talking about stuff. But also, like, I feel like I know them now. I'm rooting for them all the time. One of them is a series regular. Another one just had a T-Mobile commercial come out. I'm like constantly rooting for these women.
Awesome.
And one of them put a post up about a job that she had where she showed up and there was a black hairstylist who was just ready for her. She had packed all her things. She was ready to do her own everything. And she got there and the hair stylist just said, "What are you doing? That's my job. Just do your job. Like, why would you even do that?" Can you imagine? I've not had that experience yet, but I'm looking
Just touched
forward
my
to
heart.
it.
One
It's
day.
good to know that that's happening out there. It was
Mm,
really encouraging for me to hear.
that touches my heart right there.
Mhm.
I don't hear enough of those. Hashtag booked. Okay, I'm checking it out. That like gave me a little bit of goosebumps. No joke.
Ooh. And
That
and
was
also there, since you haven't seen it yet, you can scroll back and back and back. You will be entertained for hours. The audition sketches, all of it.
I can't wait. Yeah, I've mentioned this in one of my previous posts. I listened to this amazing podcast called Food Heaven, and it's these two nutritionists of color, and they talk about, they're really huge proponents of health at every size, and just talking about body positivity, intuitive eating, all that good stuff. And that has helped me really heal from some of the stuff that I kind of had embedded into me when I went into the industry, of having people say, "What are we going to do with your face?"
Mm.
Like it really has helped me to just say, embrace who I am. And honestly, being a mom, because I see my daughter and I'm just obsessed with her. And I'm like, she's the most beautiful, perfect thing. And really grounding yourself in this idea of like, we're all made so uniquely and so beautifully and so special. Owning that is the most beautiful thing you can do. But that's hard to do when you have the added pressure of being in the business and needing to be other people too. And I
Mhm.
think when you're talking about the average person, I'm like, yes, awesome. It's great to talk about body positivity and intuitive, all this stuff. But then you walk into one of these casting rooms and that pressure is times 1,000.
Mhm.
So I feel like talking about it from like people who, actors and people who are in those rooms and the pressure of the industry, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole
And
different thing.
people have told me to my face, if you fix your teeth, you can have the job.
Yep.
Uh, if you, I've had people tell me I needed to change my hair, needed to remove my moles, of course, lose weight off and on. And
Mm.
I have to hang on to something that says like, no, I'm actually okay. I want to play real people. I want to tell real stories. I don't want to change my face into something that it's not.
Mm.
And I have a double chin at every weight. I just do. If when I was doing Rent, I was so thin. I was like a 110, 112 pounds. And I saw a bootleg video, and there she is. I call her my bonus chin. Just full effect. It's always going to be there. And I know that sometimes when you go in and slate and you do your profile, or you have to do a scene with someone and shot from the side, I know at least one national commercial that I lost because of my bonus chin. Well, no, I'm not gonna put it on my chin. It's not because of my chin. It's because of what someone else thought of my chin.
Right. Right. That's right.
And
That's
I
right.
just have to remember, it's not me. It's not, there's nothing wrong with the way I was born. There's nothing wrong with the shape of my face. There's nothing wrong with the shape of anybody's face.
No, preach,
And
Natalie.
I remember this kid, his insecurity really helped me in high school, because people had called him ugly, and he was walking up to different girls and just saying like, "Am I butt ugly?" And I was like, "No, there's nothing wrong with your face." And then I had to remember that for myself too. There's how we were born is how we were born, and that's fine.
Yeah.
If someone else wants to say it, that's not good enough to be on TV, that is their belief, and that cannot affect what I believe about my own self. It can't.
Yes. I literally am like doing like jazz hands clapping. Yes. Preach, preach, preach,
It's
Natalie.
hard, and it's hard
It's
to remember
hard.
that.
It's hard, but I feel like I need to hear that. I feel like people are going to need to hear that. Like that's powerful.
I need to hear
Um,
it myself. I need to tell myself that. I need to remind myself of that.
yeah. Yeah. And to be real, you guys, like to be honest, I'm just throwing this out there. I took time off performing too. I came back during the pandemic. My agent was like, look, you can do tapes from your living room. please just like, you don't even need
Like,
to
don't
be
tell me you're
here.
busy now.
Like, there's no excuse. And I'm like, okay, fine. Like I took off my sweatpants and then put them back on again and moved over to the chair, put my camera on. Like, throw some tips to some young actors is that I came back during the pandemic and I took so much time off because, you know, I've gotten older. I'm into teaching. That's really been my primary focus. But also I've been a mom. My body's changed. Like I'm different. And I'm like, I don't even know if I want to put on makeup most of the time. I was just like, I don't even want to go back to that life. And my agent was like, just submit. And I almost didn't submit because I was like, my teeth are crooked. Like this little guy, like literally barely you could tell, right? Like
no, I can't even tell.
there's like it's like one is higher than the other. I had Invisalign, I lost it. But like this is how crazy it can get because I was like, I don't know if I want to take new headshots. I don't even know if I can. Maybe I should wait until after I fix my teeth. $3,000 later. How ridiculous is that? And I was like, no. One, I'm old. Two, I don't have that money. I don't want to spend that money. Three, I am fine just the way I am.
Yeah.
Like, and I have the talent. And I was just like, if someone is not going to hire me because my teeth aren't perfect, because let's be for real, we're in LA where people pay crazy money for the perfect everything. I was like, then obviously that's not the job for me. Not anymore. And not at this stage of life. There's no way. And I almost like my first tape back, which I did when I was traveling to my mother-in-law's house in some rando lighting that I had brought with me. I got called back in for a series regular role, right? Like, and it was just like, if I would have just been like, oh my gosh, I'm not perfect enough to come back. Like, what a waste. And I've gotten good feedback after good feedback after good feedback because I'm just like, this is me. This is who I am, and this is what you're getting. And if you don't, obviously you're not going to hire me, and that's fine. I've got to keep it moving.
And I think we have to connect to, first of all, this whole idea of perfection.
Oh my gosh.
That's something I'm talking about in therapy. There's so much pressure to be perfect, but perfect, one person's perfect is not another person's perfect.
I mean, right.
What if what we look like when we woke up in the morning was perfect to us?
Yeah.
Like maybe that can just be enough and we can stop trying to fit in everybody else's box.
Natalie, you just said it.
I don't even know what I said.
You said it. You said it. I'm going to rewind. You said, what if how we woke up was our perfect and we stopped trying to fit into everyone else's box? Like we're enough.
Yeah, we get to
decide. How
decide.
many times people say that, you have to keep saying it. You have to say it before and after you walk into those rooms or before and after you send those tapes. I'm enough. Tape, send, I'm enough.
Right.
Like for the actor, I feel like you need to say it like 4 times more, you know?
Yeah. Like this is perfect. Whatever that, like person A has their own idea of perfect. Person Z has their own idea of perfect.
Yeah.
I need to look in the mirror and I get to decide that whether or not that is perfect to me.
Yeah. Yes. And I guess that leads me to kind of the last question I would have for you for today, because I feel like we could talk about this forever. What do you say to the young actor, the pre-professional actor who's like, I'm about to graduate. I'm in LA, I'm in New York, I'm in Atlanta, I'm in Chicago, and I'm about to go out there. And people tell me, if you just lose this, if you would, you could be that action star. What do you tell them, these actors who want to be themselves and are impressionable and yet want to be in the business so badly? What do you tell them after all of these years?
No matter where you are in your career, there will always be somebody telling you that you need to change something about yourself to get where you want to go. You have to decide whether or not that's true. If you want to be an action star, that is a reason to get good at stunts or martial arts or go to the gym all the time. If that's not what, we don't all have to look like action stars all the time. There are some job creators who think like your arms need to look a certain way and your teeth need to look a certain way, your hair needs to look a certain way. No matter what you change, there's still going to be somebody after that saying change this next thing. change that next thing. You'll get to this next place if you change that next thing. Oh, now you're older. Now take the gray out. Now get the Botox. Now get the fillers. It's never going to stop. So if you keep trying to be who other people want you to be, then you're never going to be who you are.
Mic drop.
And listen, who you are might not work every single day, but we are more than our jobs, and we can't keep changing ourselves because of our job. We're people first. If that's the shape of your forehead, let that be the shape of your forehead. If that's the shape of your nose, let that be the shape of your nose. If you want to change it, that's your prerogative. But if you're changing it because somebody else says you can't work unless your nose looks how I want it to look, I'm sorry, that person could leave the business tomorrow, and the next person you see maybe wants your old nose.
Yeah.
We can't build ourselves according to other people's opinions and their beauty standards.